Being a part of the Feminist Pedagogies Rig has given me so much. One, is someone that loves pedagogy and is so passionate about teaching, having a space with like-minded individuals to be like, I love to do this. I want to do this well. I need a space to talk about how to do it better, as well as just the actual collaboration and networking. It's really nice to have people that I can turn to that understand where I'm coming from in the work that I'm doing as an educator. I personally take the pedagogy component very seriously as a PhD student, and I have yet to be able to find enough space within the higher education setting that also takes it as seriously as I do. So our rig providing that space has been really great, and other students also feel the same way, as well as the faculty.
The University of Oregon is unique in its great wealth of comic studies scholars here, and we formed this research interest group to address what we saw as an urgent need and responsibility on our part to create a comic studies that could avoid any of the systemic hierarchies or inequalities that might plague the field, and to create new avenues of studying comics that are anti-racist, feminist, decolonial, and generally about equity in their scope and their approach.
Collectively, we come together and think about the future of comic studies or the new direction that it is taking, and RIG specifically gives us an opportunity to learn from one another, and also to engage with artists and scholars beyond the space of university, and also to learn more about professional development, research, and teaching. To have a funded opportunity is rare.
And I think it makes things possible in ways where, as a graduate student, it's hard to buy books.
Yes.
That's not a small expense. And so knowing that if there's something we want to read, we can actually buy that book.
Some of the same literature, but not all the same literature. And we were looking for a forum to have conversations about how these literatures inform one another, perhaps how they differ. We also have had the conversation on more than one occasion that we don't spend enough time having the conversations we would like to have. And so when we saw the call for proposals, it just felt like a beautiful way to both enable ourselves at least to have a conversation once a week, but also to invite some others, some that we know, some that we didn't, and to really open it up to some different perspectives.
This research interest group, sponsored by CSWS, has given us an opportunity to have that conversation in a sustained way. And it's created a space that's sort of like what I always dreamed the university should always be about. We could have had this reading group without any help from CSWS in terms of just us sitting down talking, getting some grad students together, and then telling our friends. And that happens. But when we saw the call from CSWS, we realized if we have the CSWS sort of frame to formalize this elevates it at some level and brings more people into the room. I know there's a contemporary discourse that suggests that the university is sort of awash in woke thought, but actually finding spaces to talk about women's studies and feminist theory as it relates to disciplines in general and doing inquiry in the social sciences, or the presence of Black studies and its relevance to our work when that's not our area of expertise, that space doesn't exist ubiquitously. It's not awash in the campus. You not only have to find it, you have to build that kind of space. And so the CSWS grants create, and we heard about it today, they create those, they help people create those spaces.
To actually look at or give attention to certain, repository of work that women artists have created is really important, because then it claims a space for them. So CSWS, as a part of it, giving us opportunity to do that is also valuable in that sense.
Having CSWS, especially here at UO, and supporting people who do research, especially around women and gender, is extremely important. As someone who researches a more taboo area, it's very hard to find funding, especially if you say that like you're centering on women or like your gender component is like the bread and butter of what you do. It is an uphill battle. So having CSWS here at UO really makes it so that way like a lot of us that have more taboo or like harder to fund research areas like still have an opportunity to get that support and funding without sacrificing what we believe in, the research that we're doing, the demographics that we're focusing on.